everyone, I'm Andrew Mack. Welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to update you a little bit on my Glock 21 short frame model since I've been shooting it for a few years now. I've made a few modifications in that time which I'd like to discuss in this video. By the way, I say modifications rather than upgrades because of course we're talking about Glock, and I'm sure you're all acquainted with Glock's claim to perfection, at least when it comes to manufacturing polymer pistols. Anyway, I've made a few modifications, and I really just had two determining factors when it came to what kind of modifications I made, and those were just based on illumination and accuracy. So the first modification I made about 3 years ago was to install these Ameriglow Pro I Dot night sights. They feature a single tritium vial in the rear sight rather than two tritium vials, or snake eyes type rear sights. This configuration is really designed to hasten sight acquisition, and I've definitely found that to be the case. Being able to just focus on one sight point just does lead to pretty natural sight alignment or acquisition with the front sight, which allows you to focus more on elevation and obviously any other concerns you might have ahead of you in the darkness. So on the range, I find these especially helpful as well, since I shoot at an indoor range with somewhat low lighting, and because I have pretty bad astigmatism in my right eye. Actually, just as an interesting side note or anecdote, I actually discovered that I had a pretty serious issue with my dominant eye when I was shooting my SKS and was unable to see the front sight clearly. So obviously I got my eyes examined and discovered that I needed glasses. So anyway, with or without glasses, these are definitely a great visual aid for me when it comes to target shooting or plinking. So I'm very satisfied with the Ameriglow sights and this Pro I Dot configuration, and will definitely be putting them on any future procurements or any procurements that accommodate these kind of night sights in the near future. Anyway, that leads me into another more illuminating factor. That's my TLR1S Streamlight, which I added more recently. I really like this light. I kind of knew that I would. It's just very durable. It's bright. It's definitely not the brightest light out there at 300 lumens, but it's more than enough for indoor, home defense situations and for shooting in low light on the range. I really didn't think I'd want anything more than 500 lumens, so I was considering the TLR1 HL light, but I just didn't think ultimately that it was worth spending the extra money for for something that bright. 800 lumens is a lot. So yeah, this is more than enough. I also like the TLR1 probably more than any other option when it comes to the streamlights for a pistol this size. If I had a more compact pistol, then I might go with a TLR7 or something smaller like that, but this just fits this gun very well. Of course, the deciding factor for me was the anodized aluminum casing, which I really prefer, at least when it comes to a gun light, over a plastic casing. I know that a lot of those are very durable lights, but I've heard about issues of them cracking and things like that, and I just thought, okay, the Streamlight anodized casings, the Streamlights in general have great reviews, and I've never heard anybody complaining about the casing, at least not anything that would be the fault of manufacturing of this light anyway. So Anyway, of course, the real deciding factor for me was the toggle control switch here. This just really is very natural. But, you know, it's right there. It's, you know, right where my finger is on the gun, and it was a big factor for me simply because I've always found this to be a very ergonomic pistol for me personally, and therefore I wanted the controls on my, you know, my gun light on this light to be very ergonomic as well, and that's definitely the case. So it's, you know, just up to temporarily activate the light, down to activate the light, and of course it's in reverse if you're using it on the left side. These are just very smooth, you know, easy to activate controls too, by the way. If you want to activate the strobe light, which, you know, I probably won't ever use, but it's a nice feature to have, you just flick it into the momentary on position, basically as quickly as possible, back down and back on, all as quickly as you can. The instructions say 0.4 seconds, but I find if you start thinking about time, then you hold it on too long, and you just end up, you know, temporarily holding the light on rather than activating the strobe. So my simple instructions for the strobe would just be flick it on, off, and on again in the temporary position as quickly as you can, like so. Anyway, overall this is, you know, a very, like I said, durable, bright, easy to install, and I would say very easy to control light as well. Very ergonomic. Anyway, so that pretty much covers me for illumination. So the other factor for me, and you know, when it comes to modifications, was accuracy. So I have changed the factory threaded Glock barrel for match grade S3F stainless steel barrel. It's titanium nitride coated. In fact, I'll just give you a better look there. So that's titanium nitride coated stainless steel. That's gold in color. It has cut rifling, and Sporting Arms and Ammunition Manufacturers Institute spec 45 ACP rifling with the twist of 1 and 16. It's fluted at the end. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it is a fluted barrel. So this definitely has improved accuracy for me. But to anybody, you know, considering an S3F barrel, I would just, you know, I would just let you know that you need to really put at least 1,000 rounds through the barrel before you really start to notice the difference in accuracy with this barrel. But it is a match grade barrel, and certainly meant for improving accuracy and for competition. So anyways, those are my modifications for this pistol. Stay tuned for a follow-up video where I discuss a little bit of why I think the Glock 21, especially the Glock 21 short frame model, is really a great option for anybody interested in a 45 AC pistol, especially in places where you have limited magazine capacity. Anyway, so those are my modifications. Again, I decided to keep it somewhat simple and focused around illumination and accuracy. I didn't make certain modifications just because I didn't think they really factored into either one of those considerations. Although I do have a threaded barrel, I decided not to get a compensator, though it was something I considered earlier on, just because after shooting this gun for a bit, I just realized that there's not much muzzle flip due to the the heavier slide and the fact that this just is a really smooth shooting and soft recoiling pistol, more than any other .45 ACP pistol that I've shot. So I just didn't feel any need for a compensator. I didn't add grip tape or any small modification like that, although again that was something I was definitely considering for a while, but I decided against that simply because this gun is already so ergonomic for me. It fits my hand just right, fits and fills my hand really, that I didn't think grip tape would really help. I don't have any issues with the gun slipping or sliding in my hands when I shoot it, even for long periods of time, so there's really no need for grip tape. As for the trigger, this is not going to be a competition gun. It's just it's really meant to, I'm really just using it for home defense and plinking. It's my go-to gun for home defense, and it's probably the gun I shoot the most on the range. However, it's not one that I intend to use if I get into competition shooting, so I'm pretty happy with the somewhat squishier, heavier trigger. If I get into competition, I'll definitely swap out at least with this gun, then I'll probably put a ZEV trigger system or something like that in it. But my Colt has a very light, crisp trigger, so if I wanted to get a competition, I can always use that as well. Anyway, I'm very happy with this trigger, so again, that's not something that I really feel the need to change. In fact, I kind of like the somewhat squishier Glock trigger as it is. So anyway, those are my modifications. Once again, determined really by two factors: illumination and accuracy. So thanks for watching my video.